Welcome to The Explainer, where we turn complex topics into clear, actionable knowledge. Today, we're digging into something that's a bit of an art form and, well, a bit of a science too. We're talking about how to talk to AI. Yep, prompt engineering.
All right, let's just start with the situation I'm sure you've been in. You ask an AI for a simple summary, and you get, well, this wall of text on the left. Kind of useless, right? But now, look over at the right. What if a tiny little tweak to your request could give you that? The only difference here was adding 3 little words in one phrase. That's it. And that, right there, is the difference between a frustrating mess and a perfect, crisp answer. It's not magic, folks. It's a skill.
And that skill, that's what we call prompt engineering. Now, don't let the word engineering scare you off. It's really less like coding and a lot more like being a master artisan. It's the craft of talking to these massive AI models, these large language models, and really sculpting your input to get exactly the masterpiece you want out the other side.
So today, we're going to take you on that artisan's journey. We'll start with learning to speak the AI's language, then get into the basic building blocks. After that, we'll cover teaching it with examples, share some serious pro tips for better answers, and finally, we'll talk about your new creative power.
All right, let's jump right in. First section, speaking the AI's language. The biggest thing here is a shift in how you think about this. You're not just, typing a question into a box anymore. Think of yourself as the artisan. The AI, that's your powerful material, like a block of marble. And the prompt, well, that's your chisel. It's your tool.
Okay, so if we're artisans, we need to know our tools, right? So let's get into the basic building blocks. What actually goes into a really powerful, effective prompt? So a really solid prompt usually has 4 key parts. First up, you've got the instruction. That's the verb, right? It's what you want the model to do. Summarize, translate, write. Then there's the context. This gives the AI some background. This is a restaurant review, for instance. After that, you've got your input text. That's the raw stuff it's going to work on. And finally, and this one is a real game changer, you have examples. This is where you can show the AI exactly the kind of style or format you're looking for.
So you can see how these pieces work together. If you just say, summarize the above, it might not know what to do. But when you say, summarize the above restaurant review in one sentence, suddenly it has everything it needs. The instruction is summarize in one sentence, and the context, restaurant review, helps it focus. Both parts are absolutely crucial to getting a good result.
Okay, let's take things up a notch. This next part is where it gets really cool. Teaching with examples. This is about more than just giving orders. It's like you're showing the AI, your creative partner, exactly what's in your head. So what about when the task is a little fuzzy? More subjective. How on earth do you teach an AI to understand something like nuance? Say, the sentiment of a news headline.
Well, you could just ask it straight up. That's what we call zero-shot prompting. And for simple stuff, it's fine. But to get that nuance, you want to use something called few-shot prompting. Take a look at the example on the right. See how we've given it a couple of examples first with the answers? That's the key. You're basically giving the AI a little mini lesson, showing it the pattern you're looking for before you ask it the real question.
Yeah, and this is a fantastic example of that. You give it an input like, hi Dom, we have a special offer for you, and then you give it the correct output, commercial. It's like you're handing the AI a blueprint, and this one simple move, showing it what you want instead of just telling it, makes a huge, huge difference in getting the right answer.
All right, you've got the basics down. You're no longer a beginner. So let's move on to some pro tips that will help you polish your craft and take your prompts from pretty good to absolutely amazing.
Here are 4 little habits that will have a massive impact. First, just be simple and clear. No need to be fancy. Second, and this is a big one, you got to remember this, put your main question or instruction at the end of the prompt. This really helps the AI focus. Third, tell it exactly what format you want back, like in one phrase or in XML tags. And finally, use separators like new lines to break up different parts of your prompt. It just keeps things clean.
And wow, does this slide show you the difference? On the left, a really fuzzy request to classify the following text, and you get back this rambling paragraph, not very useful. But on the right, a super clear question, what is the above text about, followed by specific choices, and boom, you get the exact classification you wanted. It is literally night and day.
Okay, here's another really cool pro tip. Most of these AI systems have a setting called temperature. The easiest way to think about it is like a creativity dial. If you turn the temperature down low, you get very precise, focused answers, really deterministic. perfect for things like facts or classification. But if you crank that temperature up high, you're telling the AI to get more creative, to be more surprising. That's what you want for things like brainstorming ideas or writing a poem.
So, we've gone through the whole artisan's journey. Where does all this leave us? Well, it leaves us with an incredible new creative power.
Think about it. You now know the steps to craft that perfect prompt. You start with clear instructions, you add that rich context, you teach it with good examples, and then you polish it by defining the output format. You've gone from being just a user to a co-creator. You're now guiding this powerful tool, shaping its output to bring your vision to life.
And this all leads us to a really big final thought. As AI becomes this partner in our work, in our lives, you have to wonder, is the quality of our questions now more important than the quality of our answers? Maybe the most important skill for the next decade isn't about knowing everything, but about knowing how to ask. Mastering this new language, this new craft, might just be the most important thing any of us can do.